I wasn't as you know, I'm I'm a huge fan. I was a huge fan of
Right.
De Niro. I mean,
Right.
a lot of my formative films that I experienced growing up were
Right.
he was in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and like you, I've been I get maybe where he's at in his career. He's got nothing left to prove, and he's a business and all. I don't begrudge anybody doing whatever they want, but I
Right.
miss. You want every time you go to see one of his films, you hope that he's going to knock it out of the park. Like maybe this is the one. And years go by, and ultimately you kind of give up on that. When I was at, and
Right.
you know, I felt like this character was sort of really spoke to who he is as a person, in a lot of ways. Somebody presenting themselves as something on the outside, but maybe feeling something on the inside. This is being very presumptuous. I'm not saying that's how Bob feels,
Right.
about anything. But I thought he could. There's nothing to hide behind in this character. And when I talked to him early on, we agreed that that it's either you're gonna pursue this to the extreme of authenticity, or it's not gonna work. There's no other bells and whistles to this story of this character. The guy sitting behind a desk a lot of the time.
Right. Right.
And he, I have to say from the beginning, he was the De Niro that I wanted to meet. I think we got along. It took a long time for him to find time to commit. We probably talked like once a week for months, almost a year.
Mm.
And for various reasons, it wasn't the right time. But I think in those conversations, which became kind of laughable because he had nothing more to say in terms of committing, but we would,
Mm-hmm.
beat it out a bit more. I think we got to know each other enough where when we came to the set, it wasn't like we were strangers, you know what I mean? And that helped a lot because we had talked about it enough in roundabout ways where we had some kind of relationship or some kind of dynamic to draw from. And I have to say that, like, in Edward's work with him before, he was as committed as I could have hoped he would have been, and
I was kind of glad for the decision on your part to suggest and not depict scenes of sexuality between himself and Mila Jovovich. I just felt it was the right way to go, and I could see any number of other directors saying, well, listen, the man is who he is. He's not dead. He's a normal guy with normal appetite. So why do I have to hide this? This is what happens between the two of them. But for whatever reason, I just thought it was the right choice for you to show really next to nothing. Which I thought I felt it, but I didn't, for some reason, want to see it.
I'm thinking that there was certainly, I'm not. And he wasn't either. Neither one of us were bashful about approaching these things with scenes of authenticity, and I certainly covered them in a number of ways, but ultimately, it didn't,
Right.
It felt like the right decision, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Best thing I've ever seen her do, I'll tell you. I mean, I know she's strong and people know of her, and she's got a kind of a superwoman vibe to her, going way back to the Joan of Arc thing she did eons ago with Luc Besson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the best thing I've ever. I mean, I like her now a lot from this. I thought she was excellent.
Look, I have to, it wasn't like, she didn't spring to my mind immediately, in the list of people that I was, considering, but I knew what I needed for it, and it was a struggle. I tested a lot of girls, and I met a lot of girls, and, if you consider the foursome, she's really sort of the fireworks, that character of the piece, and I needed something, really special. And when we talked about it early on, like, with Bob and with Edward, we really, you go back to like Five Easy Pieces and Karen Black, and that kind of that's the kind of character that really kind of jumps out at you. You know what I mean? And it's something really special that only one kind of actress can do.
Right.
And we couldn't, and we needed someone a bit ghetto, someone that you would believe would be with this kind of guy. And and I finally, with the casting person, I said, who's ever come in here and done an audition that it was by the by, like like, who's really blown you away? Something really unexpected that you know, and it wasn't even I wasn't even talking about this particular. We were just having a chat because Mila Jovovich came in one time, and I forget the film, but she did this audition that was off the charts. I'm like, wow, really? Well, you know, let's see if she'll come in. Just you know, and what she did was so authentic, and it was the first time I really laughed at the dialogue. You know, because of what she was doing with it. It wasn't the words or a spin. It was just that I really believed this stuff coming out of her mouth, and she's got that great raspy smoker's voice now, you know. And I was like, wow, she's at a really cool place in her career now, you know. Like, she can really deliver this stuff, and she was great to work with. I mean, all of us, I think, were really blown away by what she did.
Just to, I mean, I ignored Norton, but Norton's always good. It's almost like I don't feel moved to say anything because he always does something that penetrates. But I just was very touched by him. I've never felt, and again, I'm not going to allude to anything, but I've never felt so differently about a character as I do about his hardened, seemingly sociopathic prison con as I did about him. It's an amazing arc, really. When
That's
you think
great.
About it.
I mean, you know, if it affected you on that level alone, I mean, I feel really happy. I mean, I think that you know, it's a film that's it's hard to talk about and expect that it's going to be a film for everyone, you know. But on that level of it, I feel pleased if it worked.
Well, I hope to run into you guys at some gathering in Toronto. You're going to be there for a couple days, you think?
Yeah, we'll be there. Absolutely, we'll be there. I'll probably be there from like the 9th to the 13th or something like that. But I'd love to meet you and catch up with you for sure. And,
sure.
You're in New York, right?
I am based in New York. You're in Rochester, but I guess you come down here from time to time.
Yeah, we'll come down. We'll probably have a premiere or something down there. So if I don't see you in Toronto, I'll see you hopefully at something like that.
Yeah, that would be nice. That'd be great.
Okay.
Very nice speaking with you. My hats off again, and please tell Norton what I feel also. I think
for sure. He picked up on your first writings. He's the one that turned me on to it, actually. So that was really nice.
I was going to say again, not to get into this. In fact, I've just turned off the recording device, but I really do believe that on some level, people should be prepared or it should be hinted at least that this does not do the usual thing. And
I agree with you. I mean, you know, and off the record, you know, this is please off the record.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
It doesn't do me any good because I really do like Overture and what they're doing, and I respect that there's people that have spent a lot of money on this film and they got to get it back. So I think we both can appreciate what the market dictates in terms of how you present something.
Right.
But you know, my feeling was very strong, and it was that, you know, you need to prepare people for what they're going to see, you know, and I can only hope that, you know, these sorts of conversations I'm having with you, that somehow these sort of filter out there, that there's a different kind of education that's happening beyond just the and I think it's going to polarize people. I don't think that you know, I think for every positive opinion, there's going to be the opposite. I think that helps provoke some kind of discussion.
Well, I don't have to tell you, as a guy who deals in commercial cinema, that 9 times out of 10 people want steak and potatoes and ice cream for dessert. They don't want to know about anything else. So usually, most people will go, "What's this?" You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm
you know, I get it, but you know, you can't also as a filmmaker, you know, you know, and when I think of the films, and I'm of a different generation, you know, I mean,
Are you a Gen Xer, like Norton? Are you Gen X, like Norton?
I'm in my late 40s, you know, so I don't know what that is. I don't know what generation that is, but, you know, I grew up on 70s films. Those are potatoes.
Technically, boomers ended in '64 and Gen Xers started then. So, but you're in that Obama realm where you're not quite Gen X and not quite.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I've always felt like I'm in the. Like I just missed, like, you know, all the cool. Like I just was a little bit too young for punk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and kind of like, and I was like maybe geographically in the wrong place, but I've always felt on the cusp of things. But you know, absolutely, I grew up. I mean, this to me